Merck and Company. 12 annual reports filed one a year, read here as a single line. Start with what the company sold. For 5 years, almost nothing moves. $39 billion, 40, 42. Then 2019 begins a climb that does not stop. Fiscal 2025 closes at $65 billion, the largest year in the company's history. That is 54% more than it sold in 2018, and almost none of it came from the products it was selling back then. Now one product, drawn on exactly the same axis, Keytruda. In 2014, its first full year on the market, it earned $55 million. It passed $1 billion in 2016, $10 billion in 2019, $30 billion in 2024. Last year, $31.7 billion. The scale has not changed between these two charts, which is the point. A single medicine grew to fill the same space as the entire company once occupied. Put them together, and the ratio tells the rest. In 2014, Keytruda was 0.1% of sales. By 2020, a quarter. In 2025, 49%. Half of Merck now rests on one drug, and that drug loses its main patent protection at the end of this decade. Here is what the other half looks like. Every remaining pharmaceutical product together accounts for $26.5 billion. Animal health, at $6.4 billion, is the only sizable line outside pharma. Gardasil, once the second pillar of the company, fell 39% last year to $5.2 billion. Winrevair, approved in 2024, reached $1.4 billion in its second year. What it costs to run. Research and development more than doubled over the period to $15.8 billion. In 2023 alone, it reached $30.5 billion, inflated by upfront charges for research the company bought rather than performed. Cost of sales and overhead barely moved by comparison. Almost all of the growth in spending went into the pipeline. Earnings swing far harder than sales do. The same 2023 charges cut net income to $400 million, a year in which the company sold $60 billion. 2 years later, it earned $18.3 billion, the strongest result of the 12. Cash from operations is lumpy. $16.5 billion last year, after $21.5 the year before. The dividend is not lumpy. It has risen every single year without exception, from $5.2 billion in 2014 to $8.2 billion in 2025. The balance sheet grew on every line in 2025. Total assets, $137 billion. Equity, $52.7 billion. And long-term debt rose $12.3 billion in a single year, funding the $10 billion acquisition of Verona Pharma. 12 filings in 6 numbers. Sales up 54%. Net income up more than half. Research spending doubled. Dividends up 58%. Debt nearly tripled. And Keytruda from $55 million to $31.7 billion. One medicine now carrying half the company.